Want to see perseverance redefined and gain a fresh perspective on your daily struggles? Dive into The Ant and the Philosopher, a captivating fable that reveals life's subtle yet profound lessons through the eyes of a tiny ant and a wise observer. This story will challenge your assumptions and leave you with a deeper appreciation for every step of your own journey. In a quiet corner of an ancient courtyard, beneath the shade of an old olive tree, a single ant emerged from the cracks of the earth. To her, the world stretched endlessly, towering stones, fallen leaves like great canopies, and the golden dust that shimmered like fields of light. She moved with purpose, each step small yet certain. Every grain of sand felt like a mountain, every breeze a storm to endure. And yet she walked, not out of fear, but out of instinct, out of life's quiet command to keep moving forward. From the marble steps above, a philosopher watched. He had come seeking truth in thought, but his eyes had found it instead in movement. The tiniest creature beneath him was living out the very question he'd been asking his whole life: what gives meaning to our struggle? The ant marched onward, a creature so small, yet carrying a weight far beyond her size. A crumb twice her body's length dragged behind her like a boulder. The path ahead was uneven. Cracks in the stone opened like valleys, and shadows from passing feet loomed like storms. Still, she did not stop. When the wind pushed her back, she waited, and when it passed, she began again. When the crumb slipped from her grasp, she turned, retrieved it, and continued as if failure were merely a pause in rhythm. From his place above, the philosopher watched, mesmerized. He had seen kings yield to despair, and scholars abandon truth when met with difficulty. But this small being, without pride or fear, simply persisted. He whispered to himself, "Is this what courage looks like? Not in words, but in the simple act of continuing." From his vantage point, the philosopher saw more than just an ant. He saw in her struggle a mirror of his own search for purpose. Each step she took seemed small, but the effort, the determination, was monumental. He wondered, what does it mean to struggle? Is the ant any different from the person who faces challenges too large to overcome, who doubts their path forward? Her journey, so simple in its action, became an allegory for life itself. The world, in all its grandeur, feels overwhelming when viewed from the ground. A single step may seem insignificant, but every step builds towards something greater, whether or not we can see it at the time. The philosopher, with his years of study and wisdom, recognized the ant's struggle as the essence of human existence. The quiet persistence, the trust in the process, and the courage to continue, even when the end is unseen. He asked himself, is it the destination that gives us meaning, or the steps we take along the way? Can one small action repeated every day build a life of purpose? As the ant continued her journey, the philosopher found his thoughts wandering. He marveled at the simplicity of her actions. Every step she took, though small, had a purpose. Each obstacle she faced, though daunting, was only another step toward her goal. The ant did not pause to question the enormity of her world. She did not look back at the crumbs she'd already passed, nor did she worry about the distant hills she had yet to climb. She simply moved forward, with grace, with patience, and with a quiet strength. The philosopher thought, how often do we get overwhelmed by the vastness of our goals, the immensity of our challenges? How many times do we pause, looking ahead at the mountain, instead of focusing on the path beneath our feet? In her small, steady movements, the ant embodied a lesson he had often pondered but had never truly embraced. Perseverance is not about rushing to the end, it's about taking each step, no matter how small, with intention. The philosopher could see now, the struggle is not a burden, it is part of the journey. It's in these moments, when we feel the weight of the world pressing down, that we learn the most about ourselves. We may not always see the destination, but each step forward builds something more valuable: our resilience, our character, our wisdom. The lesson from the ant was clear. Success is not about the grand leap forward, but about the quiet strength to keep moving, one step at a time. We often look for grand answers for the big picture, but the truth lies in the small things. It's the steady, determined pursuit that shapes our lives. It's the simple act of continuing even when the end is not in sight that holds the deepest meaning. At last, the ant reached the hill, her destination, her purpose fulfilled. She disappeared into its tiny entrance, the crumb finally resting within her colony's walls. The philosopher smiled. To most eyes, it was a small moment, barely worth noticing, but to him, it was everything. In her quiet triumph, he saw the story of every human life. Our constant climb, our silent persistence, our hope that each effort carries meaning beyond what we can see. He thought perhaps life is not a series of great victories, but countless small steps, each one carrying us a little closer to wisdom. Perhaps fulfillment lies not at the top of the hill, but in the way we choose to climb it. The philosopher looked once more at the trail behind the ant, now empty and still. Then he whispered, "Every being, no matter how small, walks its own path toward meaning. And perhaps the truest wisdom is to keep walking." So, what hill are you climbing today? And what might this tiny teacher remind you about your own journey? If you found this video helpful, please like it. Comment below with your thoughts and subscribe for more insightful stories. Don't forget to share it with others who might benefit.